So now let us consider the motion of bodies in contact. For this, let us assume that on a smooth horizontal surface, let us consider two blocks of masses, say M1 and M2 are being lying in contact. This be M1 and here it is M2. So in order to understand the motion of bodies in contact, let us consider a smooth horizontal surface on which two blocks of masses M1 and M2 are kept in contact. Suppose if a force F acts on the body of mass M1, a force F is supposed to be acting on the body of mass M1, then the acceleration produced in the two blocks will be same. That means the acceleration produced in the mass M1, if you suppose it as A, then the acceleration produced in the mass M2 will also be A. So because of the force, the two blocks will move together as they are lying on the smooth horizontal surface. So now in order to write the free equations for this, and let us try to find out the acceleration value. So clearly we know that the net force applied is equals to mass into acceleration. So the force applied, the total force applied is F and the total mass is M1 and M2 together and acceleration is A. So from the figure we can say that since the value of F is equals to MA, here the total force applied is F but the total mass is equals to M1 plus M2 into A. So clearly the acceleration produced will be equals to the net force acting on the two masses upon the net mass. That means the total force F net by the total mass of the two bodies. Hence the value of A is found to be, what is the F net acting, children? This is F upon the total mass here is M1 plus M2. Hence the acceleration produced in each block is found to be F by M1 plus M2. This also moves with an acceleration of F by M1 plus M2. The second body M2 also moves with an acceleration of M1 plus M2. Now let us also try to find out the contacting force value. So here M1 and M2 are contact at this condition, at this surface. Okay, so at this surface this M1 is applying some force on M2 and let us suppose that force has some F1. So that F1 can be calculated as, because of this force, that because of the contact, actually applied force is acting on M1 and because of some contacting force between M1 and M2, this M2 also starts moving, and let us suppose that contacting force has some F1. So clearly because of this force F1, the second mass M2 will be accelerated. So clearly we have F1 is equals to M2 into A. So because of this force, mass is accelerated. So F1 is equals to M2 into A, or F1 is equals to M2 times of acceleration of both bodies is nothing but F by M1 plus M2. Hence the contact force is given by M2 by M1 plus M2 into F. That's it. Okay, same case, let us try to consider with another example. So here in the first example, we have applied some force on mass M1. Now, let us suppose that a force F is applied on mass M2 and try to understand what will happen now. So again, let us consider a smooth horizontal surface on which two blocks of masses M1 and M2 are being kept. Let us suppose the mass of this body be M1 and here the mass be some M2. Earlier we have applied a force F on M1. Now let us try to apply a force F on M2 and see what may happen. So clearly when a force is applied on the masses, then both as they are kept on the smooth horizontal surfaces, both blocks will start moving together with some acceleration A towards left side. Earlier it was moving towards right side, and now because of this force, the blocks together will move towards the left side. And the value of acceleration is found to be net force by total mass. And this is calculated as, what is the net force acting, children? The total force acting is F, and the total masses together is m1 plus m2. Hence, acceleration of the two blocks is as similar to the previous one, that is equals to F by m1 plus m2. Well, so again, if you observe the same, let us try to find out the contacting force between m1 and m2. So let us suppose this contacting force as some F1. So because of this force F1, the block M1 also starts moving. Even though we are applying force on to M2, because this M2 exerts some force on M1, and let us indicate that force as some F1. So because of this force, contacting force F1, this block M1 also starts moving, and clearly the value of F1 is equals to M1 times of A, or F1 is equals to M1 times of acceleration is value is F by m1 plus m2, or F1 is found to be m1 by m1 plus m2 into F. In both cases, acceleration was found to be same, that is F by m1 plus m2, whereas the contacting force exerted by m1 on m2 is given by m2 by m1 plus m2 into F, whereas in the second case, the contacting force exerted by m2 on m1 is given by m1 by m1 plus m2 into F. Here it is m2, here it is m1. Let us also try to understand the case when three blocks of masses are connected as shown. For this, let us try to understand the same with a simple example. So for this, let us consider a smooth horizontal surface on which three blocks of masses m1, m2 and m3 are kept. So let us suppose this mass as m1, this be m2, and here some m3. Now if a force F is acting on m1, let us suppose that a force F is being acting on m1, then the three blocks will start moving together with some acceleration A in the right side. So it's as similar to the previous examples. So clearly the net acceleration produced will be equals to F net by total mass. What is F net, children? F net is nothing but the applied force F, and the total mass here will be m1 plus m2 plus m3. m1 plus m2 plus m3. If now in order to calculate the contacting force between this m1 and m2 as well as m2 and m3, between the masses m1 and m2, let the contacting force be represented by F1, and between m2 and m3, let the contacting force be some F2. So now let us try to find out these two values. First of all, coming to F2. So clearly we know that F2, because of this contacting force, this mass m3 is being accelerated. Hence, the value of F2 is nothing but mass into acceleration. What is the mass, children, here? m3. And what is the acceleration with which each mass is being supposed to be moving? With some acceleration, that is F by m1 plus m2 plus m3. So, let me write this m1 plus m2 plus m3 the other side into F. The value of Ft is found to be m3 by m1 plus m2 plus m3 into F. Similarly, you can also find the value of F1. The value of F1 can be taken as, because of this force F1, these two masses are moving together. Because of the contacting force F2, only m3 is being moving, but because of the contacting force F1, both masses m2 and m3 are moving. Hence, so instead of m2, M3, we have two masses, that is M2 plus M3 by M1 plus M2 plus M3 into F. So like this you can calculate, children. Okay, well, so so any number of bodies, if they are kept in contact like this, the contacting force as well as the acceleration of all the blocks can be calculated similarly.